The Creators Cup Challenge at Decisions Days 2023 blew my mind. And the 6 submissions that we had were all exceptional and exciting, except for the one that didn't quite get done. But we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Yeah, before we get there though, I'd like to do another shout out to the marketing team. Michelle, can you stand up please? Yeah, Michelle and team, Chase, Dave, Todd, gang, this has been fantastic. I think the location, the setup, the execution. So thanks and well done, team.
Thank you, guys. And thank all of you for coming.
Yes.
Decisions Days is all about getting together. Gordon and I were just standing in the back, and Gordon said, man, when we get people together, like the energy just gets so high. There's so many good ideas. There's so much going on. And like my enthusiasm over spending time with you guys can't be overstated. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
So, you know, we announced the Creators Cup yesterday. We honestly didn't know what to expect. And we just finished reviewing five and a half submissions, and we were blown away. So what we witnessed, there's 2 or 3 that could go right into production and deliver value immediately. We're going to have the top 2 come up and present to you all before we announce. And I will say we had heated discussion around the top 3.
We did.
So there was a lot of back and forth. We were making up the decision criteria as we went, as usual. And so there wasn't very much distance among the top 3, but we do want to talk about all of them.
We do. The rubric we ended up using really had to do with whether or not we first looked at, did they accomplish the goal? Did they use the ChatGPT in Decisions to create something? And every team has. And then we looked at whether or not they made use of a use case where you could understand how both pieces really fit together to make one another better. Is there an opportunity for an approval step or some governance around what the robot is telling you? Is there opportunity to maybe send data back into ChatGPT to get refinement? We were looking for all those kind of criteria. And then the second set of criteria we were looking for was, does this have impact to the business? Does it impact the business's customers, or is it internally focused only? And how relevant is it for the whole user community within that organization, or how relevant is it only for the designer users that exist at your company? And so those were kind of the things that we used to stratify and differentiate some of the submissions.
So I think, well, we'll talk about a couple of the submissions that won't be presented, and then we'll let you all see the top 2.
Yeah, starting with my personal favorite, it was maybe submitted by Ben Weatherford. It was actually submitted by Ben Weatherford, not maybe submitted by Ben Weatherford. But Ben used ChatGPT to generate descriptions for his flows. So he added, you may not know this, you can create designer extensions. You can use the flow designer in Decisions to create actions along that top orange bar that you can run. So if you're in a flow or a rule, you can have a new button that you made, and that actually runs another flow. Ben used that designer extension to take the configuration of his flow, all of his flow step names, and he threw it over to ChatGPT and said, write a description for this flow. And he demonstrated for us how ChatGPT would spit back a description. This flow approves loans, it routes it around the organization, it looks at these kinds of criteria like loan score, it runs a rule set, and then it submits the loan to the database or it closes it out. And then he automatically wrote that description right back to the flow itself. So Ben gets the superlative of idea most likely to be stolen by the product engineering team immediately. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, Ben. And I mean, you know, the documentation behind the scenes is hard, time-consuming. Nobody wants to do that, and have it generated automatically is just super cool. The System Micro team, who is not here and left, they put together a really cool flow. It was kind of a chat bot where I think the example was like an auto body shop, and you could chat to see, is my car ready, or how much will this cost? And it actually creates a SQL statement to reach out to their database, but combines it with text to say, your car will be ready at 2 p.m. It'll cost $250, and it's synced up with with the email address so that it knows, who to pull from the database. So that was a very cool application.
The next two were incredibly technical, and they were very designer focused. The Candor team told me that they are going to finish putting theirs together and make it available. So we'll likely, if you're interested in this, please contact your CSM or your account rep or somebody on the support team. And if they do make that available, we'll make it available to everyone. But the Candor team's idea was to take their data structures and send the definition of all of their data structures to ChatGPT and have it normalize things. Make sure that all the naming is very consistent, that property names match, that property names make sense across the universe of their data types, and then have the flow automatically update their data types to enforce that normalization, as opposed to simply having to go back and do it manually as a designer. Very clever use case, didn't quite get done. If you were at Live, Lunch, and Learn, you probably heard Tony asking some questions to try to get that finished up, but they didn't make it in time. The next one is really incredible. There's a new customer of Decisions. I'm not going to use their names as freely because I don't know how comfortable they are with that, like I am with some of you, Ben. Thank you. The next one was really... They're comfortable?
They're comfortable.
Okay. The Hyperion, it's Hyperion, right? For Epic. So Epic, Garvin and team, they're brand new to Decisions. And they have a .NET developer who's already been exploring the Decisions SDK. And they don't know how to write flows yet. They're not very familiar with the designer environment, but they're looking for ways to get started faster. And so what Garvin and team did is they actually built a completely independent web app chatbot driven by ChatGPT, where you tell it what kind of flow you want. I want a flow that adds 2 numbers. I want a flow that has a form in it. I want a flow that has 10 rules. And what they do is they ask ChatGPT to generate a C# definition, right, of code that you would normally compile in a compiler. But instead, they then interpret, using the SDK, that C# definition into a flow and automatically generate a flow. And so we liked it. It was incredibly clever, very complicated. That's the kind of thing that has got a long way to go because there's a lot of flow steps and there's a lot of translation that has to happen. But it was really brilliant. So good job, you guys. Both of those use cases were awesome.
So at this point, we're down to the top 2 who will ask to present. So why don't we start with Corey Anderson and the Shift4 team.
Come on up, Corey. We've got it right here. Yeah, just come up. You're on the Days Decision server? Yes. Yeah, we've got it right here for you. Okay. Can we switch to the laptop? Yeah. Woo!
Thank you. All right. So our use case is very Shift4 centric. For those of you that don't know what Shift4 is, we're a payment processing company, and we provide point of sale systems to restaurants, to hotels, to basically anywhere that provides transactions. So the use case that we went with is something that is a very manual process within Shift4 today. When a new merchant comes on board, signs up with Shift4, one of the tasks that happens for that merchant onboarding is merchants have a menu. Take a restaurant. We take that restaurant's menu and we transition it into a data structure that is then interpreted by our point of sale system.
So we're talking a literal menu.
Yes, a literal menu.
So Chinese takeout, Italian restaurant with menu items in imagine all kinds of forms and looks and fashion.
Yep.
I say that because it took me a little while to figure it out when you were first presenting.
Right. So when we, right, let's zoom it all in.
Yep. You want to go ahead and find
All
your
right.
flow?
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and find my flow.
So my understanding is that currently at Shift4, it's a very manual process. They get the merchant's data and hand it to a human at Shift4. That person's got to digest and then produce the digital form of that so that they can process it through their point of sale system.
All right. So let's see if I can't. So what I'd like to do is debug this flow. And what we're going to do, or what we've asked ChatGPT to do within this flow, is to take a PDF of, we're sending in a PDF to this decisions flow. We're using the default decisions text extract, so we're just ripping the text via OCR off of that PDF. We're pushing that text to ChatGPT. We're asking it to first kind of like just look at that text, see if you can clean it up a little bit, because for any of you that have worked with any OCR technology, it's hit or miss. So we're running it a first pass through ChatGPT. Once it goes through that first pass, we're going to then go back into ChatGPT and say, hey, with this text, put it into this structured JSON format so that then we can straight put it into a point of sale device. So kind of the tagline that we were going for was from PDF to POS using ChatGPT.
What I love about this use case is if you see those form icons, if you're not that familiar with decisions, this may be new to you, but if you look at the right-hand side of the screen there, you've got some page icons with the corner turned down. Those are forms. And so the Shift4 team has forms now that once they've digested that data, once they've pulled it back and they've got the merchant's menu in a form where they can start to send it directly to their data structure, they can present it to somebody. They can have somebody review that data, make sure it's right, kind of eyeball it, qualify it, make some minor changes to it, and hit a button to let it go off into the database. So at any point there in that process then, they could add an assignment. They could assign that to somebody, they could have warnings, escalations, they could get that person engaged in a timely manner, they could put rules in place, right? This merchant shouldn't have anything on their menu that's over $100 or $1,000, so that they can make sure that there's also some digital guardrails around what they get back from the engine.
Right. And that's going to be showing up in this next step is like just a very, as the programmer, I'm going to do that double check of what is coming out of ChatGPT just to give, if I need to send it back, if I need to cancel this and rerun it through because ChatGPT decided to, be testy that day. So once we have that merchant menu. Oh, awesome.
So
we've stalled enough. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say,
Okay.
yeah, I was going to ask him in the beginning to show you all what the menu actually looks like,
Yes.
but you see it right here on the form.
Yes, so for here, as the programmer, I'm just going to do a visual double check of, okay, here's the menu that I put into ChatGPT. Here's the data structure in JSON that I get formatted out. I can name it to say decisions dive bar. I can click save, and then it will save my menu. So now, if I go to a dashboard that I have open, I can walk an order through that and show the POS experience. Let me find that dashboard. Nope. All right. So here's my dashboard. I'm going to do a little bit of magic up here to hide the...
It's difficult zoomed in, isn't it, Corey?
A little bit. So I can find Decisions dive bar, or we can use John's Crab Shack and we can create an order. And so using that, this would be the point of sale experience using that menu. And if I wanted, as I'm demoing back to the customer, like, hey, did we get your menu right? I can say, okay, for an entree, if somebody orders a California roll, if they order a shrimp tempura roll, it's going to have this point of sale experience. So we can, just show them very quickly from that PDF, this is what it would look like in the point of sale system.
So Corey, here's the two key questions. One is, did you guys on the Shift 4 team start this before you showed up at Decisions Days?
We did not.
And two, how likely are you to use this or complete this and make use of it?
So we are definitely looking to complete this. We're probably going to start from scratch, but we're definitely looking for this type of application within our current scope of what our team is going to do. We have, over the course of the past year, this has kind of been one of those great white buffalo type processes that we've been trying to find a solution that could fit kind of this OCR, kind of this categorization piece to where ChatGPT is just providing both of those solutions kind of right there to just use. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Corey Anderson at Shift 4.
All right, the next use case is from a brand new customer, Tetra Tech. Kim?
Hello. So as soon as they told me that I was going to potentially be presenting, I went and started prepping immediately at the bar. So you can tell I don't like to be on stage, so please forgive me. So I'm going to ask a question to the group. Do we have any business analysts in the room? Okay. Let me ask you the next question. Is your boss in the room? Ask them to leave now. That's my precursor. All right, so I'm a business analyst. I did not develop this. Mark is my partner in crime. He's on a plane right now. So I started using ChatGPT. Sorry, I'm so nervous. I don't do
You're doing good.
All right, so I started using ChatGPT in January for helping me with formatting my requirements, for helping me to expand on my requirements. I am brand new to Tetra Tech. I started in December. Mark, my partner in crime, he is a month in, and we are asked to write requirements for really what's going to become our legacy system and Decisions, day 2 of starting with the company. So it was learning the process extremely quickly and hoping that our requirements are solid, right? When are requirements ever solid? Absolutely never. So to help, I started using ChatGPT. The key to ChatGPT is the prompts. Anyone who uses it knows if you don't prompt it the right way, you're not going to get the response that you need. So I have learned over time what prompts I need to create user stories, acceptance criteria, test cases, and use cases. So what we did is very simplistic in Decisions. It took us 2 to 3 hours to develop this. We are brand new to Decisions, so we have a lot of help with people in the room. Thank you very much. I owe you all dinner at some point. So basically, it's a simple form. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking so bad I can barely click. All right. It's a simple form where it asks, what do you want to build? We're going to go ahead and just ask it right now to build user stories and acceptance criteria. And then what I've done is I have taken my prompts that I have found, and I created a form, so you just have to fill it out. So what system are you writing requirements for? This is a customer relationship management system. And provide any background information on the system. This is one thing that I have found that helps out tremendously, because it needs to know more specifics of what that customer relationship management system is going to be doing. So I said the system will be managing customer relationships for the brokerage industry. Tetra Tech is not in the brokerage industry. I actually kind of...
Decisions architect team, just make sure you pay attention very closely.
You're going to ask who you're writing the requirements for. So for this, I am going to say it's a sales rep. And then, what is the feature you are trying to design? So this is where it really is important to use the right verbiage. And this is where your business analyst mind and expertise is going to help you, right? So I am trying to create a feature for task assignment and notifications for sending out weekly customer emails. All right. Now, ChatGPT, it'll take about 1.5 minutes. Now, one of the things that I found was it would help me write my requirements. However, if you all know ChatGPT, you cannot edit what they respond with. And I do not like copying and pasting these requirements directly into DevOps. I have had nightmare stories of it causing issues. So I was having to copy and paste it into Word as plain text, make my edits there because it's not perfect. And then from there, having to copy and paste it into DevOps. Now with Decisions, as you can see, there are several user stories and acceptance criteria given. As a sales rep, I want to be able to easily assign weekly customer sales emails to myself or other team members. Every time it's a little bit different. Sometimes you get it in different formats with ChatGPT. However, one of the things that I love about it is the acceptance criteria. That is really the most critical part of your user stories or your acceptance criteria. And it gives great acceptance criteria that you can go in, you can edit it right here in the form, and then copy it, paste it into your DevOps or Jira. So that's basically what we created.
Now, Kim, you preempted one of my 2 questions because you said it only took you guys a few hours. So clearly you didn't start before Decisions days.
No.
Second, how likely are you guys to use this or take it back and complete it like the Shift 4 team in your work?
Absolutely. We will be using it daily. One of the things that I was asked actually at the help desk was, how much time do you think this is going to save? Well, right now, my life is 80% writing user stories and acceptance criteria, test cases. And between Mark and I, he's in the role of a BA, so they've hired 2 of us, right? Between the 2 of us utilizing this, it's really like a full FTE that we're saving because of the amount of time that is spent in just writing these requirements. We still have to go in and do our work and still have to correct it and all of those things, but it's truly going to save us and make us hit our deadlines for the sprints that are going on right now. We're going to meet all those sprint requirements and deadlines. So it's absolutely going to get used every single day.
Kim and Mark from Tetra Tech.
Thank you.
So as I said, the judging panel was blown away by all these submissions. Didn't know what to expect, but we didn't expect all this. So I think you can see that in using Decisions to orchestrate these processes, it's a key part of making the automation work. Obviously, you can cut, paste, do those kinds of things with the ChatGPT front end, but when you want to automate something or have it go into your DevOps system, hey, Decisions can do it.
One of the things we decided in the heated debate is that given the business relevance, given the almost immediate utility, and given the potential impact, we couldn't not have a second place winner. So what we are going to do is we are also going to issue a cash prize, and admittedly it will be posteriori because we weren't planning on it, but we will have a smaller trophy for the runner-up of the Decisions inaugural ChatGPT Creators Cup. The Creators Cup next Decisions days won't center around ChatGPT. It'll center around the next new integration. So there is a second prize and a first prize. You know the 2 teams that are getting those. Gordon, would you like to do the honors?
I'll do the honors. So in first place, the 2023 Decisions GPT Creators Cup goes to Corey Anderson and the Shift 4 team. Well done.
This is great. This is awesome.
They've got to pose for the photos.
All right.
The one thing we ask Shift for is that tonight you drink from that at the bar.
Thank you.
All right. And Kim, come on back up.
You're going to give her a bottle of water. This is
Exactly what I
suddenly going
need.
badly.
This is what I need after the bar.
Anyway. So Kim, you'll be getting a check for $1,000, and the Shift 4 team will get the first prize check for $2,500, and we will send you something after the fact.
will.
But
Thank you. I
well
appreciate
done.
it. Listen,
Thank you, everybody, for
missed the
participating. That was
photographer
awesome.
The whole week, and now.
Did you get a picture? All right. Again, I want to thank our partners, our delivery partners, for helping to sponsor this event. And again, if you haven't talked to them as yet, there's still time. The configurable management team, Expressibility, Datamatics, Emprise, and TechClan. So thanks to all of
Thank
you.
you to the sponsors. Thank you very much.
And I want to remind you all that Live, Lunch, Learn
Monday through
happens
Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern. And so we'll see you next time. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And
That's it.
that's it. It's a wrap.